Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, along with other Democrats, are calling for an investigation into Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito. So on Wednesday, Ocasio-Cortez said Samuel Alito has identified himself with the same people who raided the Capitol on January 6th and is now going to be presiding over court cases that have deep implications over the participants of that rally. And while this is the threat to our democracy, Democrats have a responsibility for defending our democracy. So she is now calling for other Democrats to investigate these upside down flags. So look, we already knew about the upside down American flag that was flown after the Capitol riots. But apparently there is a second flag, and it is the Appeal to Heaven flag. Now, this has been adopted by Christian nationalists. Now, the flag was flown at the summer home of Alito on Long Beach Island, New Jersey, last July and September. So Catherine Clark, the Democratic House Whip, said Alito had displayed these flags that support insurrection, as well as religious nationalism, and attack fair elections. Quote, "This is a threat to the rule of law and a serious breach of ethics, integrity, and Justice Alito's oath of office." She demanded that he recuse himself from any January 6th or Trump and election-related cases. Other Democrats, of course, weighed in. Senator Richard Blumenthal posted on X, flying this flag as a political statement that is a clear and compelling reason for Alito's recusal. He cannot responsibly sit on Trump-related cases when he has already signaled his sympathy with January 6 rioters. He owes the American people an explanation. Then, of course, you have Sheldon Whitehouse, who took this jab. Quote, "Did another neighbor make Alito's wife mad? How many MAGA battle flags does Alito need to fly for the court or the judicial conference to see that there's a problem?" So what exactly is the problem with this second flag, the Appeal to Heaven, right? Well, according to Rolling Stone, that flag has its roots in the Revolutionary War. Okay, no problem with that, right? But in recent years, it has come to symbolize Christian nationalism, a diehard vision of hegemonically Christian America. So Christian nationalism, that's, well, unconstitutional, okay? It's basically our country with the laws based explicitly on the Bible, where we have one state religion, which, again, is Christianity. What flavor of Christianity, what denomination, I have no idea. But I would assume that it would be the most restrictive one, okay? Now, that, of course, is literally unconstitutional. We have the Establishment Clause, okay? So Alito is a Supreme Court justice, meaning that he is supposed to guard and interpret the Constitution. But how are you supposed to do that if you seemingly don't believe in it? I mean, it's a fair question, right? First Amendment, the Establishment Clause is clearly laid out. No official state religion. No prohibition on the free exercise of religion, which would include Judaism, Islam, etc. Christian nationalism flies in the face of that because it would eliminate all other religions. It would make Christianity the official state religion, crowding out all the other ones. And they know this. Now, look, you can say Alito is entitled to have his own personal opinions. Sure. Yeah, okay. Fine, you can personally believe in Christian nationalism. You can personally believe or support the January 6 rioters, right? The problem, though, in the court is that there's an appearance of bias. Alito has to uphold a higher standard of personal conduct. He has to avoid speech that would fatally undermine the court's claim of impartiality. He sits on that court. He is not supposed to be partial. These flags that he is flying, which have been adopted by the far right, show that he is partial to the far right. So let me give you an example here, right? So Alito's flying these flags, which are well known to be associated with the far right. So if it's okay for him to fly that, then would it be okay for Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson to fly a BLM flag or a pride flag? I mean, conservatives, you ask them, they'd be like, no, the BLM, the obvious activist judges. Well, if it's not okay for her to do that, and she hasn't, by the way, none of the liberal justices have flown BLM or pride flags, okay, then it shouldn't be okay for Alito to fly these flags that are associated with a political side. These are political statements in and of themselves. He shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't be showing that he has a bias, that he has a preference. He is supposed to be impartial like all the rest of the Supreme Court judges. Okay? So now, unfortunately, Alito can't seem to help himself in showing exactly where he stands. Okay? That he apparently stands with the January 6th rioters. And if he's doing that, well, then he shouldn't be presiding over cases involving the insurrection. No, should he? So now, it's not just the Democrats that are, having a problem with this. Richard Hassan, a legal expert who heads the Safeguarding Democracy Project at UCLA, said Alito's display of support for insurrection, he was actually okay with the upside-down American flag. He was like, that's not a problem, right? Okay, whatever. This second one, well, that was the final straw. He said, I was uncertain if the initial revelation of the first flag merited Justice Alito's recusal in the first case. But now I believe he must recuse in the Trump immunity and related cases. Remember, the Trump immunity case involves his actions leading up to the January 6th insurrection. So it would be incredibly inappropriate for Alito, who has a side, who has picked the side of the rioters, to then have to rule in this case, be able to rule in this case. He should not be involved. He's already chosen the side. He's not impartial. He should recuse. Okay? Now, Hassan also added, there's no blaming it on the spouse this time in any credible way. Because that's what he tried to do for that first flag. Oh, there's a fight with the neighbors, and we were dueling lawn signs, and, then she just put that flag upside down without telling me about it, and then she took it down later. It's all my wife's fault. No, nobody's buying that, all right? Nobody's buying that. So, now, that said, he hasn't said anything about this second flag, okay? And he hasn't said anything, and unfortunately, no one else will do anything. So now Chief Justice Roberts could enforce a code of ethics. In fact, Democrats are meeting with the Chief Justice in order to have him try to do something, but I don't think he will. Nobody can impeach him because you have to have a Democratic supermajority. Republicans aren't going to vote to impeach him and have him removed. So what does that leave us? It doesn't leave us with anything. We're pretty much stuck with it, and we're stuck with him, and he knows this, which is why I think he is literally rubbing it in our faces. Putting up these flags, showing that he is in favor of January 6th, he's in favor of insurrection, in favor of Donald Trump, and we can't do a damn thing about it.